Hello and welcome everybody back to another episode of What's Going On. It is your, I don't even know if we're monthly scheduled now. We kind of just do this whenever we want.
Whenever we have time.
When we have time, when we want to do it for fun. That's when we do this. Anyway, yes, this is What's Going On, your podcast about our favourite dinosaurs and why. And today we're going to be talking about creatures from, I was just going to say creatures from the Jurassic period, but no, of course it's not actually about dinosaurs, very, very sadly.
Yeah, do you know what, maybe I should stop getting you to do the introduction.
You don't like me to do the introductions, do you? Well, you also don't like doing it.
I don't like doing them, but at least if I did them, it would be what this podcast is actually about.
Instead of dinosaurs.
Yeah,
we should
it's not about dinosaurs.
But we should do a podcast about dinosaurs one day. Maybe when that's what's going on, we'll do a podcast about
when the dinosaurs come back.
Yeah, of course. Because that will be what's going on. So we'll do a podcast about dinosaurs.
Okay, yeah, sure. We can do that.
Okay, so
when the dinosaurs come back, we'll do a podcast about dinosaurs.
What's going on? Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. But in actuality, What's Going On is a podcast about, we do a little segment on current affairs, and then we go into a little deep dive of some true crime stories and other sort of things about that. You also talk about the psychology a lot. Oh, excuse me.
Starting off well.
Not doing well.
If
today.
you haven't joined us before, we are your hosts, because you haven't introduced us.
Oh, yes. For the first-time listeners, why were you starting on this episode? Unless this is something that really interests you.
Probably because this and the last episode about the only ones with decent audio.
That's also a fair point, yeah.
But anyway, yes, we are your hosts. I am Leanna, and I am joined with Gabriel.
Don't, Gabe. Just call me
No,
Gabe.
because you always government name me, so I'm going to government name you.
Yeah, I am Gabriel, I suppose.
Great name, Gabriel, I suppose.
Thanks. Yeah, walked into that one.
Yeah, I really did. Yeah, I know we see each other every day, but what's been going on in your life?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Just same old. Oh, a new Magic the Gathering set came out.
Okay, moving on. So again, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, what are you going to do? Life is... We move. It's now August. 2025 seems to be going rather quickly. I suppose that's the only thing that
I can't believe you're not talking about the really exciting thing that happened to us.
Well, I wasn't going to say that thing, but that thing?
Yeah.
The other thing? Yeah, well, it's your thing. It's your thing, so...
What other thing other than that?
No, there's not the other thing other than that. We are pointing to something. Yeah. And no one can see what we're doing, but I was going to let you talk about that because that's your thing.
Yeah.
I'm just here for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, an exciting thing. I mean, it still happened to us because we went.
True.
We both went. But basically, we were invited to a very exclusive private viewing of Johnny Depp's new artwork.
Very private, very exclusive.
It was literally, we got an invite from my art consultant.
Because apparently you have an art
consultant now. He was just like, yeah, we want to invite you to come after hours at like 6 p.m. This was the Castle Fine Art in Cambridge to view his new artwork. And I thought it was going to be one of those events, you know, there's a few people milling about and stuff. But we got there and it was Prosecco and just us.
Just us.
It was literally just us.
Again, reminder, his being Johnny Depp's artwork. It was just us with a couple of his prints on the wall for his new collection.
In like a really dark corner room.
Yeah, it's secluded.
It was dark for a reason.
Yeah, like the portraits themselves were highlighted with
like lighting. Yeah. But yeah, we were just sat there on a sofa with alcohol, just looking at it while our consultant was telling us all about it, and yeah, we ended up buying.
Not just it. We bought both items in the collection.
Yeah,
a collection of two. I forget what the collection is actually called.
Let the Light In is what the collection is called. So it's a self-portrait and one of a rose, because he draws, paints. I don't know. He's kind of like multi-medium, isn't he? Yeah. But obviously his daughter is Lily Rose Depp. Mm-hmm. So he used to like do her a little rose. So he's done a print of it as well. I think these were the ones he did I think she said they were the early 2000s.
These were a while ago.
Because he's now kind of releasing older artwork. Because he's kind of becoming a little bit big in the art world, actually. There's talk about him maybe having some of his art in the, what's it called? Tate Modern?
Yes.
Which would be really, really cool.
Really good for him, yeah.
But yeah, so waiting for them to arrive. I'm very excited about it because we managed to get the version 16, which is the date of our anniversary.
Yeah, 16th of November, yeah.
So yeah.
AP 16, so artist proof. So
yeah, like we've got a rare one.
Johnny will have looked over this one personally and gone, yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Which is nice.
So yeah, I'm really, really excited for them to arrive, hopefully at some point.
Yes.
It does take a while, but yeah, that was the really exciting thing that happened to us. Yeah, other than that, nothing.
Really.
No, we haven't done anything.
No, we're just getting by. There's nothing wrong with just getting by. I think everyone is, a lot of people, I think, find themselves at the moment just getting by. And that's okay, because life is
depressing.
Oh, I'm just going to try and be a bit more hopeful, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Life can be tough, but as long as we're all there for each other, that's what matters. I'm going out with a hopeful message today.
That's not like you.
How dare you?
Wait, that's your message? How dare you?
But yeah, I mean, I think it's actually been, it will have been a year, I think, since I've joined my job. Actually, I think is the only thing that's sort of in my life that I can worth noting.
Do you think they'll get you anything?
No.
I didn't get anything for my 1 year.
I mean, they do celebrate long service awards, but that's like
I did get something for my 2 years of service.
Nice.
Yeah, I got redundancy.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck that company. Anyway.
Anyway.
The world, however, has been busy. There's been a lot going on in the world. A lot of the news at the moment is about Gaza and the famine that Israel is still trying to deny that they've caused. I didn't want to talk about that because
there's a lot of conflicting reports. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but there is also undeniable fact that people are starving
and dying, and it's just awful. And if I don't want to talk about it because if I go into it, this will just be 2 hours of me ranting about our government. But the only thing I will say is I think our government is complicit, and recognising Palestine as a state should not be used as a bargaining chip. And that's all I'll say.
Okay, yeah, because you've got to be really careful now because it can't be pro-Hamas.
Oh, that is one good bit of news this week. Palestine Action, who is the group that are now recognised as a terrorist group, has won the right to appeal the I can't remember what it's called, right? But the thing that makes them
Okay, fair enough.
But I want to talk about the new Online Safety Act.
Okay, yeah. So Online Safety Act segment.
Yeah, because the bit of news I was reading. So this is not directly to do with it, but it is kind of an interesting thing. So I think it was yesterday or Thursday about how far-right extremists are using games platforms to radicalize teenagers. So the new research has just been published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology, and it has revealed how a range of extremist groups and individuals use platforms that allow users to chat and live stream while playing video games to recruit and radicalize vulnerable users, mainly young males. Mm-hmm. In an unprecedented move, last week, counter-terrorism policing, MI5 and the National Crime Agency has issued a joint warning to parents and carers that online offenders will exploit the school holidays to engage in criminal acts with young people when they know less support is readily available. Now, this article didn't state what platforms it was, but just from that description alone, it kind of just sounds like Twitch.
Okay.
Because it's live streaming.
Okay.
Games and stuff.
Right. I mean, I think there was, I forget what the article was or where I saw this, but I remember reading about like people were using chat and code to organize things. But they were using code. The code they were using was basically planning out entire, like, theorized attacks or bombings or whatever it is, but by using the words in Minecraft to make it seem like they weren't actually planning on doing that.
This is actually part of this article.
I was going to say.
It's to do with the fact that because there's only so much that platforms can moderate.
Mm-hmm.
A way that a lot of people are getting around it is by using what was it? Including the use of hidden symbols to circumvent banned words that would be picked up normally by automated moderation tools. Mm. Like using a string of symbols stitched together to represent a swastika, which I've seen so much on TikTok.
I suppose.
The amount of...
Not because you pay attention to those sort of groups, just putting that out.
No, just because they're literally just everywhere. Like, it'll literally, like, I'll be, like, watching a video with, a compilation of, like, dogs, and there'll be a comment somewhere where someone's, like, put symbols together so it looks like a swastika.
That's horrible.
It's awful. But then, like, even I think just like games like Valorant, some people on Valorant are so creative with
their toxicity,
typing out the N word. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a chesty thing, but yeah, they're creative because obviously as soon as it picks up the N word or anything like that, the F slur,
sure.
It's like an auto ban.
Right.
But yeah, I'll just say people are really creative on that game.
In the worst possible way.
In the worst possible way. But the reason I brought this article up in relation to the Online Safety Act. So if you don't know what the Online Safety Act is, that's just come into effect. It's the idea that you have to like physically prove that you're over 18 to access 18 plus like not safe for work content. Exactly. I think mostly people just like talking about it in the context of porn
a lot of the time.
And so you either have to there's multiple ways. You have to prove your age, scanning your ID, estimating your age via selfies, because that's how a lot of people are getting around with it. They're using pictures of people from games work.
They are. Which is, I think, the funniest one I've seen is people using Gary's mod.
Yes,
to do that. They change the like shape of the picture because they ask you to obviously not just take one picture but take several, and it's like take a picture of you frowning, take a picture of you smiling,
your mouth open,
So they can just use to
again, people are creative, and it will be on the younger people to find ways around this. But like debit card details, bank details, things like that,
and. Arguably, I think the worst part of this isn't the fact that it's being done and the data. Well, it's not great that it's being done, but the fact that the data is not.
I'm holding that point. I want to get to that in a little bit.
Oh, fine.
Sorry, just because I want to make the end of this article point, and then I want to talk about the act. But this is back to the extremist stuff. So the head of MI5 has revealed that 13% of all those being investigated by MI5 for involvement in UK terrorism are under 18. And that is a 3-fold increase in 3 years.
Yeah, young people really are getting radicalized then, I guess.
Right. Just wanted to make that point because then my point is exactly the point as yours. I think the Online Safety Act is the idea behind it is
Principle,
great,
fine,
wonderful, executed horribly.
Protecting young people from content is a great idea. The way it's being done and the way the data is being stored, because this is a British legislation, it's not being stored by the British government. It's not in any way that sort of affiliated.
It's like isn't it American third
it's
party?
Being sort of, I think 3 different companies. There are 3 different companies, all of which I think are based in America. One of which in particular is called, oh God, what's it called? It's named after the Seeing Stone in Lord of the Rings.
Sauron?
No, the Seeing Stone, like Palantir. That's it. One of the companies is called Palantir, and they are quite controversial anyway. I think it's one under Elon Musk, or it's one of his competitors.
Oh yeah, classic. Yeah.
But yeah, but the fact that all data is being sold to those people instead of actually being more secure is just generally, I think, something people are stressed and scared about.
I think is that, and also that it's not just like people are finding that it's like blocking like other things to do with like Israel and Gaza and like political columns and stuff. It's like blocking that. I personally have not had an issue.
No.
I mean, I don't access porn, so it's not that side isn't an issue to me. I haven't had an issue with seeing any political things, but then again, I could just not be seeing it because it's already removed,
Possibly.
and it's not prompting me to prove my age.
Well, some sites like, I don't know, Netflix or whatever, they would already have your payment details, so they'd already be able to verify that you're over that age, so that content would be unlocked. I think if that's how it works, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that's not like, I don't think anyone's having issues with.
No. But the other way
I
around
think it's YouTube that people are having issues with. Yeah.
But the other way around it, of course, is VPNs, which let you change your
Country,
geographical location, which of course the country is now like trying to consider. I don't know if they're trying to put it through or they're considering banning VPNs as well, which is a ridiculous concept.
Yeah, I don't think they'd ever be able to do that though, because, for example, I had a VPN on my old work laptop if I was working from home because it's a company information security thing.
Yeah,
I think the way it's being executed is just horrific. I think if they were going to do it, it needs to be something UK based, government controlled. Like if you had like somehow I did it through government portal, like you had to,
actually attach your passport or something, or maybe not a passport, but something that.
Well, your government gateway. I don't know if not, because not everyone has an account. I have one because I have to do like self-assessment tax returns.
What year do people get like what they're called? National insurance number or something like that.
From birth, isn't it?
Is that from birth? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still then. I mean, even then you can be like, yeah, this is my national insurance number.
Yeah, because they have to. If you did it through the government fucking knows everything about you anyway. They know what you're looking at, let's be honest.
More or less, but this would give them full transparency basically about what you're looking at.
But then you can like, it would just be that it's, when like you give permissions to websites, it like tells you what it's I mean, it's probably lying about what it's looking at, but like tells you like it's only looking at your email address or whatever, then you can just like, look at your birth date.
Yeah, I suppose. But then there comes the sort of age-old thing about the internet and the fact that it is a place for people to be anonymous. And it's sort of taking away that ability to be, which in some places there is an argument for and against, because there should be some amount of accountability for people, even on the internet. But I do also think that people are entitled to be, to a certain degree, anonymous.
But then because of anonymity, it's hard. And that was a point that was made in that Extremist. It's hard to track people.
Absolutely.
Like that could be radicalizing young people because there's so much anonymity.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's about, like, I get it's just how you are. Like, personally, I wouldn't mind if like the government was surveying me because I've got nothing to hide.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
I don't care.
It's the horrible argument of,
if they want to know that I'm, flicking the bean to a lesbian porn video, I don't, but I wouldn't care because, whatever.
It's
I also think if you're that desperate to watch porn that you're going to use a VPN, then actually you should,
I guess,
therapy.
But no, I think it's a dangerous statement to say, but there is the argument of if you have nothing to fear, you have nothing to hide, or whichever way around it is. And yeah, it's a very difficult situation and it needs to be handled properly. But I think it has been rushed out and it's not been executed in the proper way.
No. Well, at the end of the day, we've got to protect the children.
At the end, yeah.
I don't think like and again, this is just taking it on the pornography side, because obviously I think the censorship of like the political stuff is really bad. Because absolutely you should have freedom of access to all information. But just pornography side, I absolutely think is a good thing, because you shouldn't be exposed to porn under 18 because of the way porn is.
It can mold and shape young people's minds specifically.
We have a real problem with misogyny in this country. It has progressively got worse, especially in younger men. And there's, I could go on for hours about all the psychological research behind porn and why it's so damaging for young people, especially women, how it is, correlated with domestic violence, sexual assault, rape, toxic relationships. I just think it's awful and is not how young people should be learning about sex.
Sure. Devil's advocate for a second here.
Yeah, go on then. I'd love to hear this.
No. Well, not devil's advocate.
It's a good thing because
No. It's more like there is a certain responsibility for society to mold young people. Sure, definitely, absolutely. But there is also a responsibility on the parents.
No, do you know what? I knew you were going to make this. And my counterpoint to your counterpoint.
Okay. No, please, because I'm
absolutely your parents should be, parenting,
giving you good standing for where you fit in society, general lessons about life, how to treat people.
My counterpoint is, so I obviously don't know what it's like in generations now, but I don't think my parents never really had any form of sex education.
Right.
My dad was the only person that my mum had ever been with. She said to me she didn't really know what, sex or anything like that was. I never got the period talk. So when I started my period at 13, I thought I was dying because I didn't know what it was. I was undereducated.
I totally agree, yes.
Because I think my parents were uneducated about it. A lot of my first experience of sex was having porn shoved in my face.
Right.
I didn't, I went in very uneducated and underprepared. And then also my other point is, again, I agree, but kids are rebellious, kids are sneaky.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think of all the stuff that my parents, sorry, Dad, don't know about what I did when I was younger.
That's a universal experience, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's only so much parents can do because as this Online Safety Act has shown, kids are creative.
And they will find a way around things.
Find ways around things.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that is not something that I think parents will ever be able to control other than completely controlling internet access and stuff. But then that just comes into controlling parenting and that causes all kinds of issues in kids.
So it's less about the way that people are, or parents or general adults are controlling children, but about the way they're instilling better morals and lessons.
Better education. The issue I always have with this kind of stuff is that it is reactive, not proactive.
Absolutely, yeah, completely agree.
There needs to be more education in the system about sex and healthy relationships, and there just isn't. I mean, it might be different now. I don't know. I haven't, been in school. I mean, I don't count university because at that point you're specialising in things. General education, obviously I've been out of that for 9 years.
Yeah. But then it becomes almost a point of, what's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I think of words today? It's just not coming to me. It's just not coming to me.
New idea.
Okay.
We put all children into prison from birth and they have to work their way out.
The children crave the minds.
They crave the minds.
They crave the Google Gaga stands for please put a pickaxe in. I wish to toil in the mines or whatever that weird meme was that is brilliant, but still. It's a position of not authority, but privilege. I couldn't think of the word privilege. Education should be a right, but a lot of the time it is a privilege.
People, don't even get educated.
Yeah, so it's difficult to then, obviously roll out the education. It comes a whole thing of logistics and all sorts. But basically, it's a very big issue. It stems from the top. Let's burn it all down and start again.
Just teach our kids to be better people.
That too.
Young kids nowadays are just fucking awful, aren't they? I think of the kids just in the year below me at high school and how awful they were. There's just no respect for anything.
Yeah.
We had this really big negative connotation around towards the end of my generation to the one that's below, because I think I'm Gen Z.
Yes, so am I.
And then the one below us is it Gen Alpha?
I think so.
And they're
is it Gen X and then Gen Alpha? I'm not sure. Or is Gen X earlier? I don't know.
I don't remember, but it's whoever's below us
Yeah.
is you know, they have, this is just one example, but you know how like they've got really bad like negative connotations around their working ethic,
Right.
because a lot of them will just like a class as like bad workers because they don't stand for the same shit that older workers will just bite their tongue and get on with. But then I'm kind of like in two minds about it, because I'm kind of in that end of the generation where it's like you still respect for who you work for and, you know, you get on with it. But if there's something that I didn't agree with,
You call it out.
I would call it out. So I'm kind of like in that weird middle ground, whereas I feel like
Yeah.
the younger people have this like, I'm not saying I believe this, but it's what like millennials and like boomers think of us younger people.
There is that opinion. Certainly. Yeah. That people feel like the younger generations are certainly more entitled, or they don't care.
Yeah.
But society has changed so much in the last 40 to 30 years.
Yeah.
That it's easy to see where they come from, but the circumstances that have formed those values and opinions have changed. And I think that needs to be.
Yeah. I think they're kind of just like in the, well, you know, with global warming and everything, the world's probably going to end in like 50 years anyway. So why should we give a fuck, basically? Plus, they're fighting a society that was built by boomers.
Well, yeah.
You remember like when you like grandma be telling you about how they bought a house for like £10 and we're now like the only reason I'm on the property ladder is because my mum passed away and I inherited.
Yeah. Not a lot of people get that opportunity. Thank God.
Thankfully. Yeah.
But we've segued
a lot.
We have. We can go into why, but I feel like that would be a completely different podcast.
It would be.
We can go into entire societal criticism another time if you'd like. Or if our audience would like, if our audience want to hear us ranting and rating about the state of society, by all means, let us know.
I'll just be crying by the end, probably.
And I will be burning flag. No, I won't.
No, you won't. You can get arrested for that.
That's against the law, isn't it? It definitely is in America. I don't know if it is here.
I don't know. There's a lot of like, isn't there that guy on YouTube that goes around breaking like really odd old British laws that still exist, but like you wouldn't actually get arrested for them. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, yeah. Anyway, but that's if they want to see us do that, we absolutely can.
We'll be happy to.
We'll happily go on a big rant about that.
But yeah.
So
that's what's been going on.
That's what's been going on. Recent events.
Yeah. Moving on to our actual episode today.
Segue.
We're going to be talking about Gabby Petito.
Gabby who?
Gabby Petito.
Is she very small?
She was a tiny little woman, yeah, actually.
Aptly named.
She's only 1 year older than me.
Be making jokes. That's hard.
You really shouldn't. This woman is dead.
Oh God. Yeah, but I'm not going to make that point. Anyway, before we go into that, should we talk about the fact that we are fulfilling a tradition today?
Oh, we are actually drinking today.
We're
not drinking water, and this is a terrible idea because I meant to be working out later.
Oh no!
So I'm going to be doing that drunk, actually.
Yeah, fair enough. Just expel the alcohol. It'll be fun.
That sounds disgusting.
Expel.
Well, I am drinking a disgusting rosé.
You picked it.
Yeah, so I picked a Jam Shed rosé, and I've heard really, really bad things about their red wine. And I was like, all right, I'll try their rosé because it's really hard to go wrong with a rosé.
Sure.
They managed it.
Oh God,
it's
they did.
Not great. It has now. It's been open a couple of days. It's slightly better, but the aftertaste is
not apt.
I could only describe it as licking an old tin can.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Innovation, I think is the beer, because you also bought this at the same time. It's one of the ones you got me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So if it's
a hazy
IPA. IPA, I think, which I actually am a big fan of because that's generally what I go for. But
that's why I bought it.
It's very refreshing.
Not just because the packaging was nice.
You know what, if it's got nice colourful packaging, that draws the eye.
I'm just a slut for consumerism.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So cheers to.
I literally bought a perfume because I was like, oh, the advert's really nice. But it's a nice perfume.
Advertising works.
I am really bad at advertising.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, you didn't know what this was about.
No, I am going
I'm sure there's going to be many people that don't know what this is about. So I've written a little synopsis
Oh, how lovely.
for you to read.
Me to read?
Yeah, I thought you'd like to read the synopsis.
What am I reading? Sorry.
The bit right at the top
Right
that
at the
says
top.
introduction.
Introduction. Okay. Oh, God, I've not read off paper for a very long time. In this deeply personal and chilling episode, we unpack the heartbreaking story of Gabby Petito, a young woman who dreamed of life on the open road, but whose life was cut short in a case that captured global attention. From her early life and whirlwind romance with Brian Laundrie, I'm assuming that's the right way to pronounce that, to the chilling events during their infamous cross-country van trip, we explore the complex layers of toxic relationships, missed intervention opportunities, and the devastating aftermath. We also dive into the broader societal questions raised by this case, how social media masks hidden struggles, the failures in recognizing domestic violence, and the enduring fight for justice. How was that?
That was good.
Thank you.
We'll work on it, but it was okay.
We'll work on it, will we?
I actually think this is a really good time to bring this up because of the Online Safety Act and a bit about social media right now, because a lot of this is to do with how social media can hide a lot.
Sure.
So this caused a lot of this is very recent, actually. This was only a few years ago.
Do we need to do any trigger warnings for this?
I will get to that in a second.
Sorry.
It's because you read my note of trigger warning, wasn't it? You read ahead.
I briefly recognised it.
It caused a lot of scrutiny from media, a lot to do with domestic violence laws, the way police handled things, and just, again, around social media and how things are viewed. But yes, trigger warnings for those who need them. This episode will contain mentions of domestic violence, sexual assault, homicide, and suicide.
You have been trigger warned.
So, should we just jump in?
Dive right on in.
I once again just kind of done a script with written out information from my research.
And I will be sitting here nodding, saying yes.
Well, I want you to interject at points. You can raise your hand like a good little student.
I will do no such thing.
You go, oi!
Hey.
Hey!
I'm going to say this now.
Okay, so.
Go for it.
Gabby was born to Nicole Schmidt and Joe Petito on March 19th, 1999. Again, so she's only a year older than me.
Yikes. You're younger than me.
Her parents separated when Gabby was 6 months old, but remained close and both remarried. As a child, Gabby was known for her passion for art and creativity. She is described as being a happy, joyful person who loved people and the outdoors and was generally just an angel. When she was in high school, she quickly integrated with the art community there, and that is where a friendship group was formed and where Gabby met Brian. There didn't really seem to be any evidence of them being friends in high school past the point they had mutual friends, but they did know each other in high school. Now, there's this one girl who was interviewed for the original documentary I watched before I went down a really deep 3-day rabbit hole of research was the one on Netflix.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was called. I think it was like Gabby Petito and then a subtitle
or whatever it is.
Something like that. It's a really good documentary though, I will say.
Cool.
But yeah, there was this one girl who's interviewed and they don't ever give her name.
Oh.
It just comes up with friend of Gabby and Brian. But anyway, this girl gave a little bit of background to Brian. She said that after graduating, Brian didn't really know what he wanted to do and was actually living in his car for a little bit before she offered for him to stay with her as they had a spare room. She said that one day she and Brian were building a desk in her room and he left a note in it saying that she was either his best friend or the love of his life, but he was too dumb to tell which. This made her really uncomfortable as she only saw him as a brother and said that was the catalyst to them slowly growing apart. In 2019, Brian moved out to Long Island and ran into Gabby, and both of them described it as love at first sight. Both of Gabby's parents said that when they met Brian, they thought he was a little socially awkward but nice and polite, and that they did like him to begin with. Gabby and Brian started spending a lot of time together and started talking about their future together. Nicole said that one day Gabby came home and said that she was moving out to Florida with Brian, which shocked her, but it seemed to happen really quickly. And I think because it happened really quickly, like no one had any time to protest or be like, is this actually like what you want?
Sorry, who is Nicole?
Gabby's mother.
Okay.
Nicole Schmidt.
Nicole Schmidt. Sorry, Becky.
Her father's Joe Petito.
Yeah, I remember.
Someone who used to work with Brian even said that they remembered the day he left work, that he and Gabby had sat down together, planned their lives, and literally left the next day. So that was a kind of really rushed background on both of them.
Sure.
Because a lot of this was just about their trip together and the aftermath. I did try and look up more of their background, but there's just like nothing. It's all about the case, basically.
Sure.
But then you've got to remember that she was very young when she died. So there's a lack of information about her life because she unfortunately just didn't
get to live that much.
But so they moved out to Florida, and Florida was chosen because Brian wanted to be near his family, and Gabby and Brian ended up living with Brian's parents for a while. This seemed to go well for a while, but slowly went downhill. Classic evil mother-in-law.
Yes.
Brian's mother was nice at first, but then got kind of mean and was weirdly jealous of how much time Gabby and Brian were spending together, to a point where Gabby had expressed that she had started to feel uncomfortable there. There was even a point where Nicole received a postal notification that Gabby's address had been changed back to home, and asked her if she had done that and if she was moving back home. Gabby replied saying that she hadn't done it and believed that Brian's mum might have.
Okay, that's a bit underhanded.
Yeah, I want to just take this one interjection just to say I'm so glad your mum isn't like that. And that she actually likes me.
Yeah, sorry. But also we didn't move into her house. I just kind of left.
Yeah, I took you away from her. Yeah. She was like, thank God.
Yeah.
So time moves on a little. And at this point, Gabby had expressed to like, I think some friends and family that she was kind of feeling a little bit lonely. And at that point, she joined Bumble BFF.
Okay.
Where she met her best friend, which was a girl called Rose Davis, in 2020.
Okay, so for people who don't know, what is Bumble BFF?
You know what Bumble BFF is.
I know. I want you to tell people what Bumble BFF is.
So Bumble's a dating app, like Tinder, like Hinge, but it has a BFF version where it's just people looking for friends. And that sounds so sad. But as I mentioned in my last episode, I met my best friend on Bumble BFF. I actually found it I actually had a really kind of interesting experience. I don't have it anymore, but it was kind of a good experience for me because if you never meet anyone on it, it's really good rejection therapy.
Right.
Like there was a few, I think I ended up speaking to about 3 girls, and one we just like ghosted each other so quickly. Another one I still have on Instagram actually and keep up with some of her stuff, but we don't talk. But then the third girl is now my best friend, and I love her to bits, and we have a really good friendship. We understand each other a lot. So yeah, I do think there are some weird people on it. I will say some people do still use it for to try and get with people, but it does have a feature where you can report people for that. That's and it gets their accounts banned, because the whole point of it is like if that's what you're trying to do, you should be using Bumble, not Bumble BFF. But that's what it is. It's just to find friends, basically.
Cool, thank you.
So the two became really close and spent a lot of time together. Rose said that at the time she was a Domino's delivery driver and that Gabby would just ride around with her. She also said that at the time she was really depressed and that Gabby showed her the light of life again.
Aww.
I think that really just kind of, hit it home that she would just seem like a genuinely like lovely person.
Sure.
After a while, Brian expressed that he wanted to meet Rose as they'd spent so much time together. They all went to the beach together, but Rose said that he just sat back with a book while they hung out, and it felt more like a parent supervising a play date. She even expressed to her mum when she got home that like Brian seemed nice, but there was something a bit off about him.
Socially anxious people have people have already said that was part of his personality.
He seemed a bit like socially awkward, yeah. She did believe that he had a dark side, particularly because of his artwork.
Right.
Now.
Okay.
That's not something the documentary goes into. That was part of my rabbit hole.
Okay.
Really, really hard to find.
I bet.
There's nothing really online about it. There is a couple that are still around. One shows like a red skeleton, and one that's like some kind of animal, like kind of looks like a bear, like holding a knife. It's like in a suit. It's kind of like humanized. But from what is out there, there's definitely a pattern of blood, death, violence. So take from that what you will.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Especially when I tell you some other stuff about him.
Oh, no. Okay.
So a lot of it can't be found because his Instagram no longer exists. And some people even believe that Instagram might have personally removed his account. Right. But there's just not any information on it or his art. I'll see if I can find some of his artwork to show you later. But it is definitely like the kind of stuff that I would expect to see within art therapy of like schizophrenic, violent patients.
Jesus. Okay. Fair enough.
Rose also mentioned that there was this one time that they were going to go to a line dancing lesson, but Gabby realised she didn't have her ID, so popped back home to grab it. She then texted Rose saying she was coming but would be late as Brian had stolen her wallet because he didn't want her to go out.
So
she said that he would repeatedly do things like this that would make Gabby upset, but then do something really sweet so Gabby would feel lucky again and say that she didn't deserve him.
Feels like a pattern of abusive behaviour.
Mm-hmm. Then randomly in July 2020, the two got engaged without telling anyone. Her mum literally found out through Brian's mum's social media that they were engaged.
Jesus.
I think at this point her parents were kind of a bit suspicious about Brian and how nice of a person he actually is.
Sure.
Was. God, I'm not doing words today either.
Okay. It's not just me then.
No. So yeah, this engagement really shocked them, especially as they hadn't told them. And one thing that really upset them was Brian hadn't asked Gabby's father for permission.
Which in America is still fairly traditional, I think.
It's traditionalist Christian. Yeah. But they thought she was happy, so they kind of let it go.
Right.
Yeah, because like I'd be more annoyed if you asked my dad's permission to marry me.
I know.
I'd be fuming. Mm-hmm. But I think even if they were of the same mind, that I think just not even like saying to, not even the father, but like to the person's parents, look, I want to marry your daughter, your son, whatever, you know, and I would love to have your blessing. Like, I'm going to do it either way, but, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. The two at this point were really set on traveling together and had even bought a van that they were going to fit out together. Very much kind of like the one your mum has.
I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Gabby really wanted to launch a YouTube career, but obviously needed money. So she started working 50-hour weeks at Taco Bell.
That's tough.
Yeah. Rose said that Gabby actually really enjoyed it and she loved the people she worked with, but Brian started to feel neglected and got a little bit more possessive, particularly as Gabby would typically work and then hang out with Rose after work most of the time.
Well, she's allowed to have a social life, yeah.
Yeah, and Rose was her best friend as well. Text messages between Gabby and Brian show Brian texting Gabby saying, and I quote,
God,
I'll be happy when I see you, but I'll be so pissed right now. I fucking hate that you ever worked at Taco Bell with those lowlifes.
Oh.
And I don't know why you had to turn into one of them. Fucking disgusting.
That's horrible. People need to make a fucking
People
living.
that believe the service workers are like beneath them. Like, I would never go back to doing hospitality because of how awful
Badly
it
people get
was.
treated.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame because people who are service workers generally are just trying to get by.
Yeah, like whenever we go out, like we're never rude to them. I mean, I don't think we ever had a bad server though, actually, to be fair.
I don't
Like
think
if a
so.
server's rude, I at first will give them benefit of doubt because if they've been being treated like shit all day,
Yeah.
I totally get it. But if they're like continuously rude, then it's like
It's a bit.
maybe I'd complain.
Yeah, but again, I think you have to be pushed to a certain point.
They'd have to be so rude.
Yeah.
They'd have to like swearing at me for me to be like, okay, this is not okay.
This is not what we wanted. Yeah.
I think I generally have had a server before that was like really, really snappy. And then we were a bit like silent because we were taken back. And then she like kind of started crying a little bit and was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I've just had a really bad day.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh no, that's fine. Like, are you okay? Because she like was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I think she was panicking, like, please don't complain to my manager. But we didn't because we were like, do you know what?
You know what? Fair enough.
Hospitality industry sucks.
It is tough.
Or retail or anything like that. It's dealing with the public just sucks. That's why I loved my old job because I had no customer facing in it whatsoever. I only spoke to stakeholders and other people like that.
Yeah. It's why I quite like my job because I technically have customers, but it's people who are in the industry. It's people who know about the technology that they're generally.
They're usually asking for like quotes and stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly. So most of the time they're nice. Emails can be a bit difficult. Sometimes people aren't the most polite. But
oh my God, people are so blunt on emails.
Yeah,
it's because I think it is also difficult with any written communication because you can't put tone or feeling into written communication.
But anyway, yes.
But yes, calling Taco Bell workers low lives is kind of nuts.
That is absolutely horrible. Do not respect that.
It gets worse. At one point, Brian even called Gabby's mum, saying that she was working all the time and hanging out with people that were bad. Text messages later showed that he did apologise to Gabby for this and said that he just didn't want to lose her as he didn't know what he would do without her in his life.
Okay.
Rose said that because of this, Gabby started blaming herself, thinking that she was hurting him and that she was a bad person.
Wrong.
Personal writings even show her saying that she loved him but asked him to stop crying and calling her names, and that the way he spoke to her made her upset.
Okay, well, she was able to recognise that. That's good.
Yeah.
But
at this point, Rose said that Gabby had started to become a lot more independent from him and that this is why Brian pushed for the trip so that he could take her back for himself.
basically, yeah.
And this is when, in June 2021, their van trip commenced and Gabby was never seen in person by her family again.
Yikes. Okay.
So that was just...
So how long did it go from them meeting to 2021 to them leaving on the van? What's the timeline? Sorry.
2019 they met.
Okay. So
between 2019 and June 2021, they met, got engaged, and now they're going on a road trip.
Right.
Before she left, Gabby saw her parents and Nicole gave her $200 for emergencies and said that Gabby just started crying. When asked, she said she didn't know why she was crying, but hugged her mother, who also told Brian to look after her daughter. He apparently smiled and said of course he would. Gabby was excited for the vlogging though, something that was expressed to family and friends multiple times, although she knew it would be hard work. It seemed that the start of the trip really did start well and that they were having a good time. Everything they posted on social media showed a happy couple living their best lives as they traveled together.
Okay.
There's exactly one video that was ever uploaded to Gabby's YouTube channel. I did actually go and watch it. And it does look amazing. Like, I am not a camping person. If there's no flushing toilet and no shower, I'm not going.
Fair enough.
But it actually did make me consider a trip like that because they just seem so happy, so in love. They're in these absolutely beautiful parts of America. But as we know, social media often hides an ugly truth.
Sure. And posts can be edited and curated very specifically to get across a certain message.
Yeah, you can take 100 photos and only post one because that is what you're putting forward.
Absolutely.
That's what you want people to see.
Deliberately choosing what people see.
Rose actually said that Brian didn't think the vlogging was a good idea and actually thought it was pretty dumb. Like, just off that, I think it's just awful. Because I think if there's something your partner is really passionate about and wants to make a career of, especially, like, why are you so unsupportive?
You should be supportive.
Even if you're like, oh, I think this is dumb and they're never going to get anywhere, you support them.
Mhm.
You keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you express your concerns about it
In a healthy
way, as more of a like, how can I help you do this? Rather than, yeah. You should absolutely still always try and chase your dreams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If it all goes horribly wrong, you've still learned a lesson.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
But Rose actually thinks that he really didn't like the idea of it because he didn't want any truth of their relationship to be recorded. And a lot of the unedited footage that has been obtained and is public now shows quite a lot of tension between the two of them at the times.
Yikes, yeah.
Rose also said that at this point, Gabby had started distancing herself from her and she didn't really know why. So already, isolation.
Oh, this is, falling into that pattern.
So a big part of this case and where a lot of the scrutiny around the police side of it comes from the Moab incident.
Moab?
Moab.
Or how's that pronounced?
Or Moab.
How's that spelled even?
Moab.
Yeah, Moab.
Moab. I will say now, if I pronounce anything wrong, I'm so sorry.
I mean, I think it's
I'm not American.
So, but yeah.
But on August 12th, 2021, in Moab, Utah, a 911 call was made by a witness who reported Brian hitting Gabby.
Oh.
The officers had caught up to them in their van and separated the two to get their statements. Brian said that Gabby had been in one of her moods and that she had started swinging at him, so he had pushed her away in order to avoid being hit. He is shown in body cam footage to have scratches on his face, which he said was from her phone that was in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby's account is actually similar. She explains to the police that she gets really bad OCD sometimes and said that she hit him first and he had grabbed her face, which is why she had red marks around her eyes.
Right.
So she kind of did look like she'd been smacked in the face, basically.
Yikes.
She couldn't explain that another bruise was on her arm to the police. This was all from the body cam footage. She said that she had also punched Brian's arm while he'd been driving, which had caused him to swerve just before they were pulled over by the police. Further footage shows the police officers saying that both accounts confirmed that Gabby was the primary aggressor and that Brian was the victim.
Oh dear.
However, they didn't feel that he would become what they said was a battered man. So I think that's like the slang for abuse victim, isn't it?
Right, yeah, I guess.
So they decided to just separate the two for the night for their own safety, but no charges were pressed. Gabby was given the van and Brian was taken to her hotel room for the night.
Okay.
However, despite being told not to contact each other, they met up later that night and then travelled 230 miles together from Moab to Salt Lake City over the next few days. Now, I, like many people, have a lot of thoughts about how the police handled that situation.
Yeah, it doesn't seem ideal.
But I'm going to leave that to the end because it ties in with a really interesting psychology article that I found. So sure. I thought it would be better fit there.
Okay.
But keep that in mind. They're on this road trip and that is the 911 call.
We will revisit it, yeah.
Yes. Now, we're going to look at Gabby's last days and the events that took place. So on August 22nd, she contacted her ex-boyfriend Jackson via a phone call, telling him that she and Brian had got into an argument. Jackson said that the phone call felt like a call for help and that after their call, he texted her saying if there was anything else she wanted to talk about, he was there for her. Mm-hmm. I think that's really odd because I don't think they had spoken since they broke up.
Right, okay.
At this point, she told him that she wanted to leave Brian and that she had a plan but seemed really nervous about it. Jackson kind of got the impression that she was worried about what Brian might do if she left him.
Okay, yeah.
On August 27th, Jackson received a Snapchat from Gabby saying that they were in Jackson Hole and that it reminded her of him.
Okay.
Because his name's Jackson.
Yeah.
She later tried calling him again, but he didn't pick up as he was working, something that he had expressed he regrets so much to this day.
bet.
At around 2 p.m, Gabby is caught on CCTV at a Whole Foods, and that is the last known footage of her alive. On that day as well, she texted her mother saying that Brian had told her that she could have the van if she paid him, as she believed she could make more money as a female solo van lifer. She told her mum they weren't breaking up though, and that she was currently driving to a campsite while Brian went out camping in the woods.
Okay, bit weird, but all right.
On August 29th, a woman called Norma... Now, I did not get any kind of help with pronunciation here.
God.
So it's either Jalovec or Yalovec.
Okay. That sort of spell. Okay.
Like
yeah.
J-A,
Yeah.
yeah. She attended a church service in Grand Teton National Park, and as she left, she saw a young man hitchhiking. She gave him a lift to the entrance of Spread Creek campsite, where he said his fiancée was waiting, and was adamant about being dropped off there rather than her driving him all the way to the campsite.
Okay.
So it's one of those ones where the entrance is like a mile from where all the camping actually is.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
August 30th, Nicole, Gabby's mum, received a text from Gabby asking if she could help Stan with his voicemails as he'd been trying to contact her. Nicole thought this was odd as Stan was Gabby's grandfather and she had always only ever called him Grandpa, not Stan.
Yeah.
So she just assumed Gabby was driving and Brian was texting her from her phone, which is not an odd thing between couples. I mean, I think there's times where You've said, when I was driving, I said, can you just text my dad saying like we're on our way or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Texts were sent from Nicole to Gabby between September 1st and 10th, but no response ever came. Gabby's last social media post and FaceTime with family had been August 25th. Neither parents had contact with her, and Gabby hadn't even called Rose to wish her a happy birthday. Nicole reached out to Brian's mum, but no response came. When she sent a follow-up message, it went through as green rather than previous blue. So if you don't have an iPhone and know nothing about them, iPhones have a feature called iMessage where messages are sent over Wi-Fi or cellular data rather than like texts.
Yeah. But cellular data is
that, sorry, yeah, you know what I mean? Like when you're using your
Wi-Fi
data rather than...
Yeah.
I call it signal, but you know what I mean.
Self-service opposed to... Well, self-service is such an American phrase, but I know what you mean.
This is American, to be
fair.
true.
But yeah, sound
but then when it goes... So if it goes over Wi-Fi, it's...
Blue.
And then if it's...
That's a text.
Yeah, or sometimes it can mean that if one goes through as blue and then one goes through as green, you got blocked or the phone's off or something like that. Joe, who's Gabby's father, he also reached out to Brian's parents and Brian's sister, but none of them replied.
Okay.
Already a bit odd, isn't it?
It's very strange.
On the 11th, the family started making calls to report Gabby missing. Officers were sent to the laundry. I think it's laundry. I kept writing Laurie.
Okay.
Because it's how you spell his name, just with a D.
Right.
And an N.
Yeah, not sure. Laundry.
I think it's... I'm going to go with laundry.
Okay.
Where his parents said that Brian was home, but they weren't going to talk to the police and that they would have to go through their attorney.
Okay.
Odd.
That's weird.
The van they had been using to travel was in the driveway.
Okay.
Brian's sister told the police that her brother had gone into a fight with Gabby and had flown home, leaving her in a hotel.
Right.
If he's flown home,
how the hell is...
How's the van in the driveway?
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
At this point, Northport PD said they had no probable cause to arrest anyone or force them to talk, so their sergeant actually went down to the house to see if they would talk to him. Brian's parents still said they didn't know anything and weren't comfortable talking without an attorney present. The same night, the police found that the van was actually registered to just Gabby and could therefore be towed as evidence off of the laundry property.
Okay.
Any thoughts while I drink?
This is so far not looking good for Brian.
Mm-mm.
This is already raising fucking a shit ton of eyebrows, especially if she hasn't been heard from.
By September 13th, there was a massive search for Gabby. Her stepfather even flew down to Wyoming to help with the search, and the FBI also got involved. The search area was 20,000 square miles,
That's going to be tough to fucking search.
with a last cell location at a campsite in Spread Creek. They worked with Teton County Search and Rescue due to the terrain, because this whole place was like plains with bush on one side and then heavy woodland and mountains on the other side. So they were using people on foot, in vehicles, even on horseback. They were using drones, everything.
Right,
It's
yeah.
a lot of area to cover.
Yeah, that is, absolutely.
The FBI also put the Laundrie residence under surveillance at that time, particularly as the family were being very uncooperative with the police.
Yeah.
They even went on a camping trip when Brian first came back.
That's weird.
Yeah. On September 17th, someone called saying there was something going on at the Laundrie residence and requested a welfare check. When police arrived, they found no sign of Brian, and his parents told them he was missing and they actually hadn't seen him in days. It was later revealed that the police let him slip away because they mistook him for his mother. Yeah. I can't.
That's... All right.
However, now they had probable cause to search his room,
Yeah.
which they did and collected evidence. I went down, in my rabbit hole, I went through all, I think there's about 600 pages of the evidence collection and search warrants and inventory intake from the case.
Wow.
And I won't go into detail about everything they took from his room, but it was like
Comprehensive.
some weird stuff.
Sure.
The weirdest thing they collected was a handwritten letter from Brian's mother to Brian labeled "Burn after reading."
Okay. Never a good sign.
Now, these are just some excerpts of the letter, but I want you to remember how she was weirdly jealous over him
Yeah.
before, and I think this woman is quite literally in love with her son and an enabler because this shit is just so weird.
Yeah.
Right. You are my boy. Nothing can make me stop loving you. Okay, yeah.
Fine.
Not fine, yeah. Nothing will or could ever divide us, no matter what we do. Starting to read like a love letter.
Yeah.
If you're in jail, I will bake a cake with a file in it.
Okay.
If you need to dispose of a body, I will show up with a shovel and garbage bags.
Warning. This is much worse.
Yeah, that's all I got, but weird shit, right?
Very strange. I mean, yeah, it's a little psychosexual.
September 18th, we're at now. A woman on... right, this is another thing about the social media. A lot of the social media around this case actually ended up being quite crucial in solving it. So a woman on TikTok made a video saying that on August 29th, her and her boyfriend had given Brian a lift in Grand Tito Park. I think I said I mistyped before and said Grand Teton, but it is Grand Tito.
Tito. Okay.
This and other tips coming in made the police change their request for information to include dates around the end of August. Because of this came a key tip from Jen and Kyle Bethune, who are also van life vloggers. On September 19th, Gabby's remains were found.
Jesus.
They were wrapped in a sweater.
Oh.
There was a burn on the ground as if someone had tried to start a fire, but no fire starting tools were found. Her boots were next to her. Investigators at the scene immediately thought that it had been staged as she was not lying in a natural position. Her autopsy then confirmed it was a homicide as a result of blunt force trauma and manual strangulation.
Jesus.
Now, her medical report is not public information. The only thing you can find in relation to it is the evidence log and the photos and all that stuff. Now, before I go into Brian fleeing,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the full timeline that the FBI established
Okay. Yeah.
when they built their case, so you can then make up your own mind about whether you think he did it or not.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Well, he definitely did it, but sure.
Okay. August 27th, the last day that Gabby is seen alive. At 1 p.m, they were known to be at a restaurant in Jackson called Mary Piglet. A female witness states that the couple was arguing before they abruptly left and Gabby was crying. Gabby then tried to call Jackson. At 2:33 p.m., they are seen on CCTV at Whole Foods. At around 6 p.m., they arrived at Spread Creek, confirmed by the van footage from the Bethune showing a seemingly dark and empty van at around 6:30. Around 7:15 p.m. is the text to Gabby's mother about making more money as a solo van lifer. At 8:32 p.m., digital evidence shows that she was moving around video footage on her hard drive. Police do believe that she was still alive at that point because it was consistent with her previous laptop behavior.
Right.
By the next day, there's no evidence she's still alive. The investigation concluded that she was likely to have died that night and her body was moved by Brian to where it was found. On August 18th, Brian hiked from Spread Creek up to the Coulter Bay camping area, taking photos as he went. The next day, on the 29th...
Wait, August 18th?
19th.
What?
Wait, what?
That timeline doesn't seem right.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I meant to write the 28th. And...
Assuming, yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So 27th,
yeah.
On August 28th, he hiked.
Gotcha.
See, I got typos.
That's fine.
And then on the 29th, cell tower data showed that at 1:20 p.m. he called his mum for 55 minutes. After this call, his father contacted an attorney. Subsequent calls were made between Brian and his parents until about 3:30 p.m. Brian was still sending texts to Gabby's phone with no response. At 5:55, Miranda Baker and her boyfriend, so that's the TikTok woman,
right,
and her boyfriend picked Brian up and gave him a ride down south towards Jackson. At around 6:30, 6:45, Norma took him to the entrance of Spread Creek, which is where the van had been left. Texts to Gabby's phone were then read around that time and responded to when Brian was back in Spread Creek.
So he went and got her phone and responded to them to make it seem like she was still alive.
That's what they believe, yeah, that he was creating an alibi.
Yeah.
On August 30th, CCTV footage captures Brian driving the van back home. This is when the text about Gabby's grandpa was sent. Credit card reports show that Gabby's debit card was also used at various gas stations. And a Zelle transaction, I think it's like Venmo.
Right, yeah.
It's sent from Gabby to Brian for $700 saying, "Goodbye, Brian. I'll never ask you for anything again."
Which he staged, clearly.
Brian is now no longer assumed a missing person and is now a federal fugitive, and a federal arrest warrant is issued for him. So back to September 14th. So that's 3 days after Brian's reported missing by his parents. The police learn that a car has been left in a parking lot near a park for a substantial amount of time. They learn that the car is registered to the laundries, and once it is ticketed, the parents pick it up and bring it home. They admit the park where it was found was somewhere Brian liked to go hiking, and that he had told his parents he was going for a hike to relieve some steam from the pressure of people that had turned up at their house. He took some supplies with him, including food and a tent. His parents had not reported this to the police because they believed he was coming back.
No, he was going out to hide until it all blew over.
On September 18th, police started searching for Brian in the park where the car was found. And again, this is in another area that's about 20,000 square miles.
Could have been fucking anywhere.
So FBI collaborated again with local and state people and volunteers, but there was a load of flooding in the area. So they actually had to shut the park down and the search efforts were slowed.
Right. Oh, God.
This is where it gets fun.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
Brian came out of the woods. AK-47 in hand. No, I'm joking.
Oh my God. Fucking Rambo style. Jesus.
A month later, on October 20th, the park was reopened to the public. And Brian's parents were immediately down there at 7 a.m. in the morning. An hour into their search, Brian's father found his waterproof bag. And 45 minutes after this, I think it was stated it was about a mile from the car, they found his remains.
His remains? Okay.
His autopsy concluded death was suicide caused by a gunshot to the head.
Okay, right. Fair enough.
Inside the waterproof bag were pictures of Brian and Gabby and a waterproof notebook full of letters to his family saying goodbye.
Right.
Another note told a story about what had happened to Gabby.
Okay.
This was an unexpected tragedy. Rushing back to the car, trying to cross the streams, I hear a splash and a scream. I can barely see. I found her breathing barely. She was freezing cold. The temperature had dropped. When I pulled Gabby out of the water, she couldn't tell me what hurt. While carrying her, she continually made sounds of pain. Laying next to her, she said between violent shakes, gasping in pain, begging for an end to her life. I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, but from the moment I decided to take her pain away, I knew I couldn't go on without her.
Right.
Currently, the extent of Brian's parents and how they were involved is still unknown.
Yeah.
All the police know is that Brian called his parents on August 29th, and they knew at that point that Gabby was gone.
So then they just didn't go tell the police.
And that he needed help.
Mm-hmm.
After which they wired $25,000 to their lawyer. So they knew at the time that Gabby's parents were reaching out to them and that she was already dead.
That's horrible, the fact they didn't say anything. That's absolutely vile. Vile behaviour.
Yep.
No fucking... They're fucking parents and they cannot conceive that they're their own fucking...
So Nicole, Gabby's mum, has actually come out and said she forgives Brian.
Right.
She thinks there's, that I can't remember what exactly she said, but I think it was kind of like, as awful it was, she forgives him, but she doesn't forgive his mother. Yeah. She's called his mother like the devil, and said that she enabled him and stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, as a parent herself, she would have known that if her fucking son had been killed, they would want to fucking know about it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But she had different fucking priorities.
Now, this is where I went a little bit further, because as with all documentaries, they tend to be dramatized and they leave out a lot of information.
They do, yeah.
So the main thing that the documentary left out, there was actually some lawsuits, which I will get into. But firstly, there's some information that came from the medical examiner's report released in 2022 that might answer some of the questions you might have, if you have any right now.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So when I first watched this and looked at articles from the time, the police never released information about a gun being found near Brian's body. Right. So as far as any of the public were aware, he was found with a gunshot to his head.
But no gun.
Yeah. So I had this like really wild theory in my head while I was doing research. Like, what if Brian's parents killed him and staged it as a suicide? Mm-hmm. Because I was kind of like, how does someone kill themselves with a gun and then it's not found? Mm. And how did his parents manage to find his body within 2 hours when law enforcement couldn't do it in over a month?
Yeah.
Especially when I think they said that it was literally like a mile from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, either they did it or he had said, this is where I am.
Yeah, like they knew where he was going. I think the argument that the documentary made was that because they knew where his favourite spots were. But then I feel like, would they not have told the police that?
They said that unless they were trying to conceal something.
Yeah. Now, then I did find his whole medical report is available to the public, unlike Gabby's. Mm-hmm. The only thing that is redacted is the pictures.
Sure, makes sense.
Which I do understand, but I also don't, because one of the things about his body is that it was a skeleton.
A skeleton?
It had been completely picked apart by wildlife, basically.
How long had he been there?
A month, 6 weeks.
Okay.
It's right in wilderness. So the report states that the scene was broken up into a main and secondary site due to the scattering of remains and personal belongings. Mm. This was likely consistent with the fact the area in which it was found had been submerged under approximately 3 feet of water due to the floods, consistent with water level marks on surrounding trees. Okay. Another reason it would decay quicker. Mm-hmm. The report also states that a revolver was found at the scene by the remains. Oh. So the only thing I couldn't find out was where the weapon came from. That's still not public information. Mm. Details since released revealed that on the day Brian was reported missing, his parents surrendered their firearms and discovered a handgun missing. But this has not been confirmed to be the one that was used in his suicide or not. Okay. The FBI and local police do consider the case now closed.
Right.
But past the initial autopsy findings, no circumstances about Brian's death have been publicly released or confirmed.
Okay.
So in March 2024, so this was only last year, Gabby's family secured a $3 million wrongful death settlement from Brian's parents, Roberta and Christopher Laundrie.
Mm-hmm.
The settlement came after the Petito family filed a civil lawsuit against the Laundries in Florida in November 2022, citing mental suffering and anguish over the loss of their daughter.
Yeah.
The complaint alleged that his parents withheld Brian's confession to them that he killed Gabby, refused to respond to the Petitos or law enforcement when they were looking for their daughter, and were even making arrangements for Brian to leave the country.
Yeah.
When asked for comment, the Laundrie's attorney, Stephen P. Bertolino, shared the following statement. The documentary was what we expected. One perspective depicted as the truth as seen through their lens, similar to Republicans and Democrats fighting it out lately. Each side believes their perspective is correct. Hard to see through the lens of the other with all the noise and distrust. The documentary contained many inaccuracies, incorrect juxtapositions of timelines, and misstatements and omissions of fact, perhaps deliberate to capture their truth in
inverted commas.
Yeah, perhaps due to simple error. We all know Brian took Gabby's life, and Brian then took his own as well. Let the parents of both Gabby and Brian mourn and remember them in peace. Yeah, I don't.
It's a very strange.
It is a very strange statement.
Don't know why he made it political.
Gabby's family also had a lawsuit against the Moab police due to the Moab incident.
Mm-hmm.
They filed an initial complaint alleging that Gabby's death resulted from the Moab Police Department's negligent hiring practices and failure to provide proper training. The lawsuit was dismissed in November 2024. However, the Petitos went on to appeal this decision, filing a second amended complaint. Court documents obtained by the US Sun back in July read, in this case, Brian Laundrie murdered Petito 15 days after they left Moab together. During that 15-day interval, Petito had her van, keys, and contact with her family. Instead of leaving Laundrie, she drove with her fiancé to Wyoming, 400 miles away from Moab. Moab's police department did not cause Petito's engagement to Laundrie, her decision to remain with him, her decision to continue driving to Wyoming, or Laundrie's criminal conduct weeks later. The department continued, Petito's murder is an undeniable sorrow. Laundrie's crime was undisputedly depraved, but the judicial system is not a substitute for a GoFundMe campaign. Heartbreak is not enough. In this 14-page motion to dismiss, the department also referenced multiple cases where crimes were committed following encounters with police officers.
Yeah.
Attorney Mitchell A. Stevens, who represents the Moab Police Department, previously told the US Sun, the Moab City Police Department did not cause Brian Laundrie to murder Gabrielle Petito. He added, when called, Moab's officers responded with kindness and respect. They also separated Miss Petito and Mr. Laundrie for the night. The next morning, Miss Petito and Mr. Laundrie chose to continue their ongoing road trip, travelling hundreds of miles together over the following weeks. The plaintiff's $50 million demand appears to be a publicity stunt. Even if the plaintiffs believe that Moab City is liable, it strains credibility to suggest the city is 15 to 20 times more responsible for Miss Petito's death than Brian Laundrie, her murderer.
It's a fair statement.
Yeah, it's a very fair statement.
It's absolutely a fair statement. Yeah, no, you can't argue with that. It's 50 million is a lot to demand out of a police department, especially when
they need it for education.
Well, yeah, but I think the points they raised are absolutely correct. Admittedly, more could have been done, but I think with the stories that both but I think with the stories that both Brian and Gabby gave, they were within their rights to give those specific actions about separating them.
Yeah. The parents, I will say, because that is part of the psychology bit, were right in the fact that the Moab Police Department are undereducated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not their fault. I think they did handle it horribly, and that if they had handled it in a more educated way, there is a good chance that she might still be alive.
But I don't think it's their fault.
No, because if you're not given the right tools to handle it in the first place.
Plus, they were called out to what was a domestic at best. Admittedly, it's not a great one.
No, it's their undereducation in that is the issue.
Oh, okay.
No, it is the issue.
Right.
I'll tell you why in a minute.
There we go.
The last thing I will say about the case is the family has now set up the Gabby Petito Foundation that helps victims of DV find the right resources and get help. It also provides information about what to do in the event of a missing person and advocates for other missing persons, particularly Indigenous women. And that was in response to when all this first came out, it very much became white women syndrome.
Right.
Again, the idea that nobody pays attention to missing persons unless it's a white woman, which is true. So they do a lot of work with Indigenous communities and advocating for Indigenous missing persons because there's so many and they're just not reported on.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, I think it's a good thing there, at least when they set it up, they kind of got backlash because of that. But instead of being like, oh, whatever, they turned around and went, okay, we're listening to you.
Yeah.
Tell us how we can help.
That's good.
So if you want to be educated in any of that, it is just called Gabby Petito Foundation. It is a really good website, actually. But yeah, so I'm going to take a pause to drink and breathe.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's a long story. Well, not a long story, but it's a story with a lot of details, and the case specifics are...
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts? He's clearly...
Do you think...
Yeah.
My main question...
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he killed her out of mercy, or do you think he killed her and then made up a story?
I think he made up a story and then felt guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he made up a story to justify it, because either under advice from his parents or from the lawyer, but...
A lawyer won't give you that kind of advice.
But yeah, I think he made up a story, and then when he realised that he was still going to get in trouble from it either way, he left, I think, but I don't know if he immediately decided then to take his own life or what.
I think because there was that thing about his parents might have been trying to get him out of the country. Maybe he was waiting for that, but then it was like, just, consumed by guilt. I don't know, because it's like the only way I could see, because this is why I went into a more of a deep dive, because his parents are very much like nothing he said like lined up with her autopsy. But then I kind of think he said that she tripped and fell, and you can absolutely die from hitting your head.
Sure.
And that he then like put her out of her misery. That kind of does go along with her autopsy, in my opinion, because she had blunt force trauma to the head.
And also choke.
And also manual strangulation was the actual. Because so that kind of does fit with her if she fell over, hit her head and was dying. So he strangled her to put her like as a mercy killing.
I guess.
Because if you're in the middle of nowhere, you've got nothing else to kill someone with, really.
Bare hands is too raw. It's too personal. It is in my opinion, it feels more like a crime of passion than...
Yeah, but then if you're going to mercy kill someone in the middle of nowhere and you've got nothing with you except like a tent and food...
You got a belt?
Maybe not.
Or some sort of core.
That's still manual strangulation, though.
It is, absolutely. But I think it's the fact that he is strangling her. She's obviously on the ground, but he's on top of her, hands around her throat, looking at her. Most likely,
might have his eyes closed.
Maybe, but it's the
because then I guess the other argument is that they could have got into argument. He could have shoved her, and that's how she fell.
Maybe.
Or he could have just whacked her in the back of the head.
Or he just whacked her in the back of the head and was like, "You're not."
The issue is the only two people that knew what happened were both dead.
Yeah, so we won't know.
We'll never know.
No. So
unless the parents come forward and be like, "Yeah, that's exactly what he said," which they won't.
No. So we can speculate as much as we want, but with his behaviour and increasing,
I don't think it was merciful.
He may have found out that she had called. I think he probably found that she called
her ex.
And was like, "How fucking dare you? You're mine."
They got into an argument. Yeah, because then I think even if it was an accident and then it was a mercy killing, I don't know. Like I feel like
he would have come forward. I think if you kill someone out of necessity, you put your hand up and say, "I had to do it."
Because then you're only going to prison because they can't prove anything else.
Yeah.
You'd only be going to prison for a suicide.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
suicide.
my other point is like, if we were in that situation and I fell and hit my head and was like dying, you'd be carrying me, rushing me back to somewhere with cell service as fast as you could. He didn't call anyone.
Yeah.
He then called his parents and they called an attorney. He obviously asked for help. He
Yeah.
told them she was dead.
So
As soon as she's had cell service, why is the first people you're calling your parents? It should be the
instead of
police
or any sort of hospital
or medical or
ambulance,
anything.
Yeah. If you love
That's
someone.
why it's odd to me. And the fact that he was doing it as he hiked up to that other place, taking pictures. He was taking pictures of scenery,
It
dead
seems like
animal corpses,
he's taken
bones.
so much.
Why are you
delay.
so calm
Yeah. Yeah.
afterwards? Even if it was a mercy killing, you're like, oh my God, she's dead. You'd be panicking. You'd be hiking, taking a leisurely stroll, taking pictures.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he killed her.
Yeah.
Whether the initial bit was an accident or not from a fight that got too heated, but that conscious decision to then strangle her rather than doing everything in your power.
Even if they're in pain, you try and get them somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd make you bite down on something and just carry you if I had to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if it was the other way around and I knew I couldn't carry you because I'm not physically strong enough, I'm not a marathon runner. I have no cardiovascular fitness. I would still be running until I was throwing up to get to a place where I could call someone for help.
Yeah. Yeah. If I could.
Even if I had to leave you behind, well, I'd have to leave you behind because I can't carry you. But
Yeah, light a fire, get me warm
yeah.
as much as you could, sheltered.
So that was the other thing, the fire
the
next to
fire-
her body,
was-
or the burn on the ground where it looked like someone had tried to start a fire.
Yeah, there's a difference between trying to.
It's obviously been staged.
He-
Like, oh, she'd gone out camping, tried to start a fire, and then like
Yeah.
died to the elements. But there's no fire
no
starting
fire, yeah,
tools.
so-
She's laid in a really unnatural position.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very strange.
It's very strange.
But again, we'll never know
won't.
because all the people involved, well, those two are both dead.
And the parents are not likely to say anymore.
No, they wouldn't even tell her parents that she was dead. They're never going to come forward and say shit.
They're shitbags. No offense.
Awful people.
Anyway, so that's those people. That's the case. And we are at the psychology bit of this podcast now. Cool. So that was the Gabby Petito case and the events that transpired.
Yes.
And now we are looking, what are we deep diving into with the psychology?
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence.
This actually isn't really what's the word? This won't be really a dive into the psychology as much. There is some psychology behind why they do it. But it's more, I want it to be more of an education thing.
Okay.
Because it's important.
It does happen. People need to be aware that it happens. And if you find yourself in a similar position, you need to know.
Please get help.
Yeah, you need to know what to do. And sometimes it's really hard to know what to do because maybe with like Gabby, where Brian, they probably had a lovely relationship for a while and then something turned.
Yeah.
They're no longer the person you thought they were.
And then I will also touch on why I do think the Moab Police Department failed, which was that really interesting Psychology Today article I was reading.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So firstly, what is domestic violence? It's important to remember that it's not just physical. It includes emotional, psychological, sexual, and financial abuse. It can happen to anyone, regardless of age, gender, race, sexual orientation. The core issue of domestic violence is the seeking of power over a partner. Some perpetrators will even use children, pets, or family members as emotional leverage to get their victims to do what they want. Victims tend to experience diminished self-worth, anxiety, depression, and a general sense of helplessness that can take time and often professional help to overcome. Why do people become abusive? Abuse is driven mostly by the desire for control, to maintain power in the relationship, and assume a position of superiority. Violence also involves troubling cultural norms, particularly in cases of men sexually assaulting women. This is a bit of a segue, but I really wanted to get into this bit. Remember that rape in marriage was not illegal in the UK until 1992.
That's a bit recent.
And that even in 2018, statistics show that a quarter of Brits do not view non-consensual sex within marriage as rape. Yep.
That's a weird opinion to have.
There are currently around 30 countries that still do not have explicit laws specifically criminalising marital rape.
Okay.
A lot of these countries do have cultural norms that view rape as stealing something, but you can't steal something from something you already own, as they view their wives as property. There's even some countries that have what we call marry your rapist laws, which allow perpetrators to marry their victims in order to avoid prosecution, forcing women into unwanted marriages.
Good God, that's not okay. That does not, well, it's going to be different cultures, so I can't really say it's not okay. But from my perspective, that's fucked.
From a humane perspective.
Okay. Yeah,
but yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that if we were married and you wanted to have sex and I said, no, I don't want to, and then you forced yourself upon me, not that I'm saying you would.
Okay, good.
Would you consider that rape?
That's absolutely, yeah. No, non-consensual sex between two or more people is rape.
Thank you. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, you didn't mean to say that, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, you can go into the tea metaphor if you want to.
I was literally just thinking.
Everyone knows the tea metaphor. We're British. Tea. You don't want tea. You don't make someone drink tea. Even if you're married to the person, you offer your wife tea and she's like, no thanks, I don't want tea. You don't make her drink tea.
You can't make an unconscious person drink a cup of tea.
You can't make an unconscious person.
If you're not British and you don't know what we're on about, I highly recommend searching up British tea consent.
I don't know
video, I guess.
That is, but yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It's what we're all like shown in like high school as our lesson on consent, except it doesn't. I feel like a video just saying like if someone says no, it's not consent would have been a lot better than the random tea metaphor we got. But it's like it is ingrained into all of us.
It should be because it's very important and it goes over a couple of specific circumstances. So yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Don't make people have tea.
Yeah, if they don't want it, don't give them tea.
They don't want it.
But why don't people report domestic violence? There's a multitude of reasons why, but research particularly on spousal rape, for example, finds that many survivors did not resist due to fear of injury, fear of their efforts being futile, and fear of how that resistance would influence the marriage. Think of cases as well where other people being used as leverage. There's a want to protect them as well, and DV cases can get really complex.
I bet.
Technology today has made this more complicated as well. Technology has enabled abusers to track and stalk their victims, communicate with them incessantly, and wield power through digital devices in the home, such as remote-controlled alarm systems, thermostats, and lighting. These tactics create a sense of complete control, instilling fear, isolation, and humiliation in victims. It makes me feel bad about having your location.
No, because we have each other.
Yeah, you have mine as
it's a
well.
different thing. It's not just like, oh, I want to know where you are all the time. It's like,
yeah, you literally just see me walk between the house and Co-op and back, and that's it.
Yeah, but what we have, it's a more what we have is because you're worried about me, not because you want to.
Yeah, I'm worried about you going and cheating. No, unfortunately, Life 360 doesn't tell you. Like, Gabe's at work and balls deep in someone, just tells me you're
Jesus Christ.
No, I think we originally did it because I have a really bad habit of running away when I'm drunk. Yeah. So I gave you my location just so you could track me down when it happened.
Right. Yeah.
And then it just became that I could watch you driving back home from work so that I could meet you at the door.
Which is very nice.
That's what I use it for.
It's very, very sweet. And then you get to send each other like little notes about ETA or love you.
Yeah, you can like, and then I can see like how far away, if like, I find it especially useful if there's things I need to get done before you're home. Yeah, or there's been a couple of times where I wanted dinner to be ready for you. So then if I have your ETA, I can like
But again,
Yeah.
that is a consensual use of
Yeah.
each other's location.
I didn't like point a gun at your head and was
No.
like, give me your location.
No,
I was like,
exactly.
I'm giving you my location and this is why. I would like your location because of this.
Yeah, and that's
And if you turn around and said no, then
it's-
I would have been annoyed.
Yeah. But again, that's
I would have respected it.
it's almost the thing of like, if you have nothing to fear, you have nothing to hide.
Yeah, I used to have someone I used to be friends with. I used to have that location all the time because she was useless with directions. So a lot of the time you'd have to send each other your location so she could just walk towards your point
Yeah.
because she was just terrible.
Really bad with direction.
Yeah,
Okay.
just things like that.
Yeah.
It also has crash detection, which is the
Yeah.
other reason I got it. Because you drive like a maniac.
I don't drive like a maniac. Normal person.
But yeah, so this is not an in-depth list, nor am I an expert.
Okay.
But these are some signs of an abusive relationship, and I wanted to add it in because, again, I think this stuff is really important to be educated about, and also within the context of Gabby's case.
Sure.
So types of abuse tend to revolve around four main things. So physical abuse, such as hitting, pushing, or denying medical care. Emotional abuse, manipulation, name-calling, threats, and emotional blackmail. Sexual abuse, coercion, rape, or sexual assault. And economic abuse, controlling finances, withholding funds, or creating debt. This has more recently been updated to include a fifth thing, which is technology facilitated abuse, such as stalking, harassment, or control through digital devices.
Fair enough. Yeah. Good addition.
More importantly, though, there are signs of an abusive relationship. Common tactics that perpetrators use include a pattern of violence, episodes interspersed with apologies, gifts, and promises to stop. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Not you.
I know.
With
Yeah.
Brian,
With Brian.
yeah. Isolating the victim from friends, family, hobbies, or even their job. Instilling guilt in the victim for their behavior or wanting more freedom.
Oh, look at that. Gabby again.
Yeah, becoming more independent, having a job and friends, and he took her away and isolated her. Outside of physical abuse, subtler signs of domestic abuse include extremely controlling behavior, aggression, blame, severe jealousy and possessiveness, including guilt tripping for wanting freedom or constant surveillance or need to know whereabouts. One of the most concerning signs of domestic violence is strangulation.
Yeah.
Studies find that abuse involving strangulation is one of the strongest predictors of attempting or completing a murder. Again, I hope you don't see it as constant surveillance, having your location. I don't like look at it all the time because it notifies me when you leave work.
When I leave
anyway.
work, when I get home, when I go to certain places that I'm going to.
I only get alert because I have the free version.
No, true.
I only get alerts when you leave. It's home and work.
Is it? I thought you could mark other places.
You can mark other
but
places
you need to-
so that when you like go into the app, it will say like you're at Badminton or you're at
Yeah.
Gabe's parents, but it won't.
Oh,
You don't
maybe
actually get
notified.
notifications unless
Okay.
it's home or work.
Fair enough. Okay.
Just because I wanted to know when you left work,
Yeah, fair.
so I could be like, no, that's embarrassing to admit that.
No, you're about to. Why not? Come on, put it on air.
On like Thursday when I was feeling like really down, I got the alert that it was like Gabe has left work, and I generally hit the yippee. I literally went yippee, and then I like caught myself and I was like, oh my god.
No, that is cute. That's
I was like, I really need a hug. So knowing that you're going to be home in like 30 minutes made me happy. Anyway, whatever.
No, that's very cute. I'm glad that
I've got
was the
really
response. Yeah, you've gone as red as the jumper you're wearing right now. It's very cute.
I hate
Anyway,
the fact that I have really like my dermatologist said I have really translucent skin, which is why I show up with redness a lot. Anyway, last thing. So coming back, the other thing was cases seem to suggest that female abusers, because again, men can also be the victim of domestic violence. Female abusers tend to use emotional abuse rather than physical abuse on their male counterparts. But yeah, coming back to Gabby's case, I did want to cover why this education is so important and why that lack of education is why I do think Moab police handled it really badly.
okay.
So this was the article I was reading, and it was just points that the person made about mistakes made absent a trauma-informed lens.
Okay.
So the reason why I think they let Gabby down was because they weren't seeing it through a trauma-informed lens.
Right. Fair enough.
So these are the points they made. The police never interviewed the 911 caller to follow up on their statements that they witnessed Laundrie hitting Petito repeatedly. This person was crucial to their investigation as they saw Petito being beaten, not Brian being the victim.
Okay.
Petito's statement said that she was to blame for hitting Laundrie required analysis by the police before they assumed its accuracy. If they had used a trauma-informed lens, they might have understood that as a domestic violence survivor, she would likely take the blame for her perpetrator.
Right, okay.
This is the state of mind of the intimate partner victim, which is the view police must use when questioning individuals about domestic altercation. So that is a thing where victims of DV will very much be self-blamers,
right,
and will take blame for their perpetrator because it's the fear of repercussions if they admit to someone that they're the victim.
Sure.
Leaving Petito near her abuser while being investigated meant she couldn't feel safe enough to disclose the truth of being in danger. Filing the report as a mental health crisis because the victim was crying perpetrates that one.
Yeah.
Stereotypes that females are perpetuates. Thank you. Because the victim was crying perpetuates stereotypes that females are hysteric and emotional. In reality, this was a domestic dispute that the officers blamed the victim for, and in doing so, acutely underscored the risk of lethality to her.
Okay.
Neither officer provided the couple with domestic violence informational handouts or connected them with a victim advocate. An advocate may have been able to speak to Petito away from Laundrie, where she could have felt more at ease to disclose her abuse. Petito was isolated from friends and family, many miles from home, alone with her perpetrator. Isolation of the victim is part of the cycle of abuse and should have been assessed to understand if she was being victimized.
Sure.
The police did not photograph Petito's abrasion on her face or offer her any medical assistance. Domestic violence cases require that police take photos of all injuries for future prosecutorial evidence.
Mm-hmm.
The only picture of Petito's face where you could see that it looked like she'd been smacked in the face was evidence taken from her own phone.
Yikes. That's not good. Okay.
That's what I had on that.
Yeah, fair enough. I think if they had better training or were more informed or looking through that trauma-informed lens, as you say, they may have been able to recognize some more enacted.
The thing is, from the body cam footage as well, I felt there was only like one female police officer there. The rest were men.
How recently is the sort of trauma-informed lens, like perspective or information education, whatever it is, has that been like rolled out?
Oh, years old. It's older than the Petito. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 3
years ago. Trauma-informed lens, the information around domestic violence is at least it's longer, it's older than that.
Fair enough.
But I think then the issue is with when you're educating and providing training for police departments, that kind of thing is pretty low on the list.
They have a whole load of shit they have to try and deal with, and yeah, that is really hard to also educate about, but it is vitally important because it fucking happens, and it's a lot more common than I think people get to see. But it's cases like these where we see it get to the extreme that do highlight its importance, because it can happen to anyone. So.
But those points, I do think they let her down. They should have at least been separated more. When they took their statements, Brian was just standing outside the van and she was in the back of the police car behind the van.
Yeah.
It is just a thing that victims of domestic violence are absolutely not going to admit to anything when their perpetrators
right there
within
view, basically.
Yeah, knowing that she could then go back to him and knowing that they could tell him, oh, well, she said this.
Yeah.
So I do think they absolutely let her down, and that kind of training, needs to happen.
Yeah.
But those are the points I wanted to make because I wanted, it to be an education for anyone listening to this as well. It's an education for me.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, the amount of stuff you must have learned just looking into this is, God, huge.
Yeah,
amount of things I've learned listening to this as well is a lot.
It wasn't fun, but
no.
I will just say for UK listeners, if any of this has felt a little too close to home, let's say, there are resources available for help. Obviously, Gabby Petito Foundation, obviously it's American based, though it does give some information. But for UK, there is the national DV hotline, which is 0808 2 000 247. And their website is www.nationaldahelpline.org.uk.
Good. Nice.
Please get help.
If you are in a horrible situation.
Even if it's like, oh, I'm just a couple of these things, talk to someone.
Yeah.
Before it goes too far.
Well, with that statement, no, and plea to seek help if you need it, we will close out this episode of the podcast, I think.
Yes, we will.
It's been another long one, I think we only do long ones.
We only do long ones. They're still under 2 hours.
But, feel free to listen to this in segments, in a long car journey or a couple of times in the week. If you have time, if you want to listen to it, if you like the sound of our voices, even if it's not the content that's particularly...
I listen back to mine. I'm like, wow, Gabe sounds so good because he has one of those good voices. And then even though I've been told before that I have a good podcast voice, all I can hear when I listen back to it is me like breathing down the mic, and I think I sound really nasally. But if you do enjoy it,
these,
I think
podcasts, like all the content that we...
Even if you just want it as background noise to fall asleep to because we're boring the shit out of you,
I guess.
I think Cube said he puts it on when he's doing artwork, just as like background noise.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you're listening to this, Cube, so this is on your background, I can see you. Turn around. We're in your walls. We're in your house, boy.
Anyway. So our next episode, which will be God knows when.
Whenever.
I thought we could do the Ocean Gate submersible disaster.
Topical.
Because I think there is actually, from what I've heard, I know nothing about it other than it imploded, didn't it?
It did implode, yeah.
Is that I think there actually might be a bit of scandal around it, which I'm going to go and research.
Yes. So if that sounds like something you're into, stay tuned to the next episode. And thank you all for listening. Bye for now.
Bye.